This is Aldershot, a small town in southeast England, which is also the headquarters of the British Army. It is also the area with the largest concentration of Nepalis in Britain. Most of these young men are the children of Gurkha soldiers, and I examine what it means for them to belong to both families and communities with a military legacy. This footage is taken from a music video of a rapper named Gole, who is part of a collective from Aldershot and surrounding areas where military families have settled. They call themselves the K-Boys, and several of them have also joined the British Army. Most of them belong to specific ethnic groups historically recruited for the Gurkha army. Before I return to them, I will briefly explain what that means. The Gurkhas are a military unit formed over 200 years ago, created solely from Nepali ethnicities. They first began working for the British East India Company after the Anglo-Nepali War from 1814 to 1816, where they were hired in exchange for Nepal's independence. This way, although Nepal was never directly colonized, its identity also fell within the framework of the British Empire. The Gurkhas went on to work for the empire in every major battle, gaining a reputation as fierce warriors and winning a vast number of military accolades and medals such as the Victoria Cross. They were seen as belonging to what the British designated as martial races, a system of classification throughout parts of the empire using ethnic difference as a means of control. Over 230,000 fought for the British during the two world wars. Today, joining the Gurkha army is still a matter of great prestige for the communities.
It's one of the toughest physical selection tests in the British Army. The Doko race is infamous across Nepal. It's an uphill challenge which forms part of essential selection for those wishing to join the Brigade of Gurkhas.
Their dokos are waiting, each filled with 25 kilos of sand, which they'll carry on a 5-kilometre route to the top of the hill.
Thousands gather every year for the 200-odd places offered by the British Army. For example, 17,000 may compete for 230 spots. The figure of the Gurkha continues to be legendary both for the British and Nepali public. After a highly publicized campaign led by the actress Joanna Lumley, Gurkha families were allowed to settle in Britain, with most moving into the UK from 2007 onwards. Nepalis belonging to historical so-called martial races became the majority of Nepalis in Britain, even though they themselves were Janajatis or indigenous minorities back in Nepal. They continue to be featured often heavily in more right-wing British press as Britain's soldiers, praised for their continual loyalty to the royal family. Celebrating Gurkhas continue amongst their children, who then draw upon military symbols through fabrics and accessories for inspirations. My research asks how the young men may internalize the neo-mythical narrative of their military heritage, along with the indigenous and tribalism within their particular ethnic groups. Martial races in Britain but marginalized groups in Nepal. Over time, they have moved away from creating highly visible ethnic-inspired fashion, exploring masculinities that seem softer than the image of a hardened warrior.
I like cardigans so much. I bought a lot of cardigans, like 6 or 7 pieces.
For example, Korean media, now a global force, was and continues to be highly influential. Here is a clip of one reaction video that generated over 500,000 views. Dhiraj became cast as an actor for a Nepali-led film set in England. Interesting to note how many comments praise how Korean Dhiraj looks. Korean popular culture, both with music and fashion, are evident here. Korean popular culture itself mixes influences from US, R&B, and hip-hop, and the young men here draw from both worlds along with Nepali tropes and imagery. Dai translates to older brother, part of how Nepalis address one another. Here's another clip from this collective that's recent.
Baby, how you dealing with all the lockdown? Do you like it better now that I'm not around? I know you got time for yourself now. Thought I'd be okay, but it's funny how I don't wanna be quarantined. You know I miss how we get intimate. Ooh, yeah. How many days can it be without you, girl?
Alongside young men, young Nepali women such as Sushila explore Nepali male identity through style through her student menswear fashion project, which in turn develops circuits of reflection and creativity both for herself and her participants. Here's the social media of Jess Limbu, another menswear fashion student, and some of his designs. In contrast to studying fashion, this Gurkha's son works in fashion. Former fashion design student and model Ishan Kali is part of a collective called Outlanders. This is a group of young men of East and Southeast heritage carving a career in the fashion industry by providing consultation, marketing, and slick photo shoots. Interestingly, their website shows their ethnic heritage. Whether these different young people explore styles deliberately through formal study or as self-expression, they are all interconnected in these diasporic events as influencers, organizers, models, and participants.
Yeah, all you wanna do is party. Got a gang of girls with you. Whole squad flexing for the pictures. Don't even get me started. Hashtag fitness.
They also team up with fitness-centered groups and initiatives.
Hi guys, my name is Rudin. I'm the founder of Runderbolts, and we are a community that uses running as a tool to bring people together. You have to work out clues to get to the next destination.
Even a group around powerlifting collaborates with big dance events such as those in the clips you saw previously, mixing weightlifting followed by dance. They also collaborate with emerging community fashion labels to attract bigger audiences. The powerlifting venture is different to community bodybuilding events by whom they regard as aunties and uncles, and the young people are too embarrassed to go there. However, they follow and support community heroes such as the former Gurkha soldier Nirmal Purja, who is heavily featured in global press for his mountain climbing achievements, and Hari Buddha Magar, featured in this ad campaign.
I joined the British Army through the Gurkhas. The military make me more resilient, more stronger. Yeah, I absolutely love my job. In 2010, I was deployed to Afghanistan. We are very proud to do that. So I just there and give my best. Suddenly went bang. It's time for soldiers. They dressed the soldiers and just give them a confidence. It's been super hard to find the right clothes. This is my second life. I'm here to make a difference. I've survived to make a difference.
In addition to celebrating these community heroes, young people are also encouraged to celebrate their own family heroes, their fathers, grandfathers, and other relatives in the British Army, such as shown in this initiative for a Gurkha movie campaign. This is the father of the young actor we saw earlier. Here are some clips of London-based artists celebrating their Gurkha heritage.
Gurkha's thick. Taylor about the fucking flex. My vision is blurry. I told mama I'm sorry. To the people that care for me, people that love me, tell them don't worry. Hey, if it's beef, we in H-Town. T-Dogs, we ain't fucking around. Gurkha Riders, G-R-E, yeah, they wanna hear that sound.
Gurkha Riders Entertainment.
Hardina ma aki barchu bisma auni sanga ekle lorchu hardina ma garchu
Feeling lot of stress lately.
Stress lately.
Smoking on that Ami got me stress free.
That loud.
It's a cold world, it's a hard struggle. We got fake niggas on the next level. Waiting on the hand sign. I'm representing my bloodline.
Representing my bloodline. मेरो अन्तर्वार्ताले सधैँ राख्दा यो अर्थ पागलको अन्तर्वार्ता जस्तो प्रश्न राख्दा मलाई सगरमाताले चाहिँ जस्तो लाग्छ मेरो आफ्नो यात्रा.
Like this genre of music, young artists also reflect cultural influences in popular British urban music such as Afrobeat.
And this ain't no waste man things. How I know you got told by them waste man things. Snapchatting to your friends about them waste man things. Are they artists pulling on your waist black jeans?
Girl, if you bless me, I feel gonna show ya. We wanna show you tender love, got me a care for ya. Step on the gay, girl, you know we not the racial. We love you like the rising sun, got
wanna
me
see me if I ride for you. Wanna see if I'm on time for you. Girl, your body make me die for you.
Aka mero, aka lobby, mon papi hare disa. London, Nairobi, ani Odisha. Baba, some like that to go legal, it's not that you need Baba, wow.
It must be noted that Nepal also has a history as a tourist destination for counterculture in the 1960s and 70s and indigenous celebrations of marijuana used by Hindu holy men. So dreadlocks in Nepal are not anything new. Here are two examples of rap artists in Nepal.
तिमलाई पास दिदा लामो लामो सास सनी चिल ब्रो पफ पफ पास पोजिटिभिटी नै फिल भो केही कामै छैन पहाड बनाएर दिलको यो ब्रह्माण्डमा हामी केवल आगोको झिलको लामो लामो सास सनी चिल ब्रो झिलको.
This year, certain Nepali artists such as Dibes Pokhrel, also known as Arthur Gunn, have gained much more greater international attention for being featured on American Idol, and Nepalis everywhere, UK included, have been very supportive. Ethnically Nepali artists also end up gaining a following even if they were never brought up in Nepal.
I'm a pretty boy, I'm stunning. Super speed Sonic, I'm running. Super speed Sonic, I'm running.
US-based rap artists are also invited to perform in the UK, and there's a big contrast in both clothing and music styles in line with the rap genres that they both follow.
Feel my lady, keep behind it. So up on my dick, push the paddle out, run it. Pull your thing out, push the boy, you better gun it.
In the meantime, musicians from all parts of the Nepali diaspora look towards Nepal with far more popular rappers who highlight social issues.
Resonate to the bass and a drum kick. When the snare fill up the air, my heart function.
I ain't scared of shit, they're a real kick. Got dreams like an American, and by comparisons, me gon' get the everything.
Middle day speed on me. Middle day speed on me. Middle day speed on me. Thought about it, don't like kick 18 honey.
In this mixture of masculinities that come from not only the soldier traditions, but also different religions, ethnicities, languages, the visibility of queer identities is also gaining traction. Lex here has over 110,000 followers on Facebook and 31,000 on Instagram and counting. He had a public coming out video where his Gurkha soldier father defended him.
And I'm gay, so what? And I hope that me sharing my story will be an example.
Here is an openly gay soldier in the British Army who is a former Gurkha and an inspiration and role model to many young people. Young straight men in the diaspora have also experimented with queer topics in their music videos, and surprisingly, they've had very little backlash over them, both in Nepal and the diaspora.
विश्वास दियो मलाई सधैँ साना साना पाइलाको खुसी
In the meantime, both in Nepal and its diasporas, the COVID-19 crisis and Black Lives Matter campaigns over the summer have greatly affected both young men and women, making them share and examine internal issues of caste, race, and equality, which will be interesting to see how much that affects concerns of ethics in the fashion industry or conspicuous consumption. Racial ambiguity has made some targets of coronavirus-related anti-Asian racism. The global protests over racism have also made Nepalis examine themselves what sort of inequalities exist within their own cultural systems. An interesting bridge between these different worlds, examining race, identity, and belonging, and styling masculinities, is demonstrated through the collaboration between the half-black Nepali artist Smokey and young men in southeast England in another town of military Gurkha family settlements called Farnborough, which is near Aldershot, that you can see.
AG at the back with the rams on the side, active, ready to dash from lights. AK was on the 125, AG at the back with the rams on the side, active, ready to dash from lights, but first gotta take that up boy's life. Come to the F, then pay that price. See it up boy, then it's straight on sight. See it up boy, then it's straight on. I be thrilling just like and drawing, miss no targets, goals man scoring.
The 1-4 is emphasized because it is the postcode for Farnborough and also the postcode for where Smokey comes from in Nepal.
I'm risking more than a 2 in a blue when I hit them roads trying to flip this food. Man, I got plans on plans, but fam is mad. I'll scurry one, lock my goons. Really cap, they really just cap, they jump out gang, cause we really need cash. Dodge me a bird, did a brilliant dash when I nearly got grabbed by pavilion stash.
And here is Smokey in Nakiput, also code 1-4 in Nepal.
Flex mode, work hard, this pussy flex mode. 2020 ठुलो plan flex mode. Bahana सबै side la, let's go. Time is priceless, what you really waiting for? Grind, this पछि whip for. काले केटा lifestyle छ essay. Work hard, मलाई चाहिँदैन वेके. थाहा छ भन्न पायो भने भन्छन् के छुटाउन सक्छु को छ real, को छ fake.
Members of Do It for the Culture team, one who is also serving in the British Army, expressed that they wanted to nurture local talent and a sense of community through creative production. They were specific in that they really wanted to represent where they're from. So I asked them, what does that mean? Where is that? And they told me, Farnborough.